everybody, we're back here on One, New York's longest-running sports call-in show on WFUV 90.7 FM, WFUV.org, WFUVsports.org, Facebook, YouTube, all the places that you can find our broadcast. It's me, Dylan Balsamo. It's my friend Gigi Spear. We're so thankful that you continue to join us for our show, and we're so excited about our guest right now. Our guest is a pitcher who pitched 4 seasons with the Texas Rangers. He is now currently with the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks of the Nippon Professional Baseball League in Japan, but most importantly, he just finished representing the United States in the return of baseball to the Summer Olympics in Tokyo, pitched 11 innings, 2 runs, 16 strikeouts en route to a silver medal. He is also, very importantly here, only the 34th major leaguer ever to have played baseball at this very university. It is Nick Martinez. It is such an honor. I can't believe we are in the same Zoom room as an Olympian.
That's a hell of an intro, man. Thanks a lot. Happy to be here.
I truly worked all day on it, so I'm glad you liked it. So I guess our first question is, in the wrap up of the Olympics here, we know. So you're still in Tokyo right now. To let our listeners know.
Well, I'm in Fukuoka actually. Fukuoka is down south, like an hour and a half flight south of Tokyo.
Okay, so
same time zone.
Okay, same time zone. So I guess our first question is, in the adjustment back to playing for the SoftBank Hawks or the Hawks or how the name would be.
Either one's fine.
What has that adjustment been like, trying to get out of the Olympic mindset back into just?
So we just started back up yesterday, and I'm exhausted. I don't pitch till Tuesday the 17th, and so the team's been giving me a few days. I've had some light practices, a lot of massages, which is nice. I've had a massage like every day since I've been here, just trying to get my body, try to bring it back down. I was, after we won silver, I didn't go to bed till like 6 a.m. 2 nights in a row, and I'm not back at Fordham anymore. So the consequences are a little heavier. So I was pretty drained the last few days with coming to the ballpark, just getting my work in, getting recovery in, and I've been feeling better. So we just started up yesterday with a win against my former team. We have 2 more games this weekend, and then I pitch on Tuesday against the Rakuten Eagles.
Nick, we're so happy to have you here again. I want to just apologize to everyone for some background noise because, like you said,
I'm in the boat. I'm in the same boat with you.
Okay, and it happens, and it's life, and these boxes that we are in are just fictitious, aren't they? But yeah, so I have so many questions. But first of all, if you don't mind, I'd like to start with the present moment. And I know Dylan already asked how the adjustment is, but how is life right now in the major league? I know you guys just won the silver medal, and congrats on that. So amazing.
Thanks.
The Olympian, you had the hardware to prove it too.
Yeah.
So yeah, just how is life going right now? And you get to play a sport that you probably, I'm assuming.
Yeah. So a dream come true, really. To represent the country and to take home silver, what an honor, and just I'm on cloud 9 still about it. So enjoying that still a little bit. Coming back here with the NPB, adjusting like we talked about a little bit, but again, it's just been a little bit of a grind. I haven't had my family out here all season, so just trying to stay locked in for the game. It has its pros and cons. I'm able to stick to a routine a little bit easier, but then again, having my family around is a nice distraction. So I miss them like crazy. I haven't seen them in like 5 months now. So I'm married and have a 3-year-old. So that part's kind of tough outside of baseball. But once I'm at the field, I'm able to, stay focused on my routine and get after it.
So obviously the life of any professional baseball player is just a rush of emotions while it's happening. And that's why I'm very curious of the state you were in when you found out that you were going to be playing for Team USA in the Olympics. I'd imagine that was just a surreal moment. I would also imagine that the fact that you didn't have to travel very far to participate was also a great part.
Well, so about that. So first off, being asked to represent the country, it's beyond surreal. I feel luckier than having been, making it to the major leagues. When you make your debut, it's something that you've worked towards, and as long as you're grinding away in the minors, you feel like you always have a chance. And as long as I keep working, keep putting in the time, and keep making improvements, at some point they're going to give me a shot, see if I can actually compete at that level. So that goal seems more attainable than being selected for Team USA. On top of pitching well, there's plenty of guys that still pitch well and don't get selected. So it goes beyond that. It goes beyond, it goes beyond what you do on the field and into your character, if you're a team player, it goes beyond a whole list of things. And to be selected, I just feel incredibly lucky and honored that they even consider me, and then to even make it and bring home silver. It's just something I'll cherish forever.
Well, we know you have the roots in a Jesuit education, and I hate to do this to you because maybe you want to forget about it, but
no, that's all right.
You went to a Jesuit high school. Obviously, you went to Fordham, and they preach care for the whole person, whatever, cure of personalities, whatever. And I'm just wondering what that means for you. Like you are you're making a living off of what you love, and I'm wondering what it's like for you to be doing that and living what you love, but you also have this family too. So how has it been for you to adjust, like take care of every part of yourself and of the people around you, whether it's your teammates that you're with right now or your family back home? How's that?
Right. So, at my high school at Belen Jesuit, we were, our motto was "Men for Others," and whatever we can do to help and make our environment better. A lot of times that looks that has to do with looking inward. How can I be a better person to then serve others? And so, and to be able to do what I love, and having been through the grind of the minor leagues, then getting to the big leagues and being sent up and down, and kind of been in that yo-yo effect with Texas, and then coming out here to Japan, and having to sacrifice family time. I really just try to spread a positive message to some young guys. And, a lot of the time, especially, there's guys that come out here and there's younger guys that feel a lot of pressure, the same types of pressure that I felt when I was getting, called up and sent down numerous times. Just try to stay positive and look at ways that I can help them grow. Look at the positive things in what might seem a negative situation, and how they can get better. Help them. We're in a very analytical style of the game right now, so either try to interpret analytics to them so that they can better understand and improve their game, and also strengthen their mind in any which way. So those are the type of things that I like doing and working with other people.
We're here with silver medalist Nick Martinez on One-on-One on WFUV and all of our platforms. Nick, you talk about that adjustment, specifically between the minor and the major leagues, from an emotional standpoint, but from a technical standpoint, from the game itself. I would imagine the adjustment, especially pitching, between the minors and the majors is enough, but then not only to also have to adjust between the big leagues and the Japanese league, but now you also have to find the different type of game that the Olympics would be in this combination of a whole different bunch of baseball styles, I would imagine. So what is that like to have to adjust on the mound between different styles of play, especially between different opponents in the Olympics, but between the Japanese league and between pitching in the big leagues and the minor leagues, and even in college as well? What are those things like?
Yeah, sometimes you can get caught up in the different styles, the different cultures in the game. And I was fortunate to pitch against Korea and then Japan, two Asian styles, even though Korea is pretty different from the Japanese league. But most importantly, you have to remember your strengths. Your strengths are usually what got you to this level, whatever success you might have. We have some guys in the minor leagues on their way up. We've had some guys that, 10-year veterans, 10 plus years veterans. And what got those guys, playing that long, is sticking to their strengths. So that's what, we were talking about a lot with Team USA, is stick to your strengths. And we got the guys to back you up, the guys coming after you. And then, with every game being important, every game is a playoff game. It feels like an elimination game. So you really want to come out there not fooling around, not getting beat by your third or fourth best pitch. You want to go out there guns hot, attacking guys with your best stuff. And, in that playoff situation, you're going to try to ride it as long as you can, and then, call for reinforcement after that.
And can you tell us too, you mentioned the difference between Korean and Japanese styles of play. What were you thinking for the differences between those two specifically, between what you're seeing on USA Baseball too?
So Korean style baseball, they're pretty similar to the American approach, and they're trying to get early contact out in front, try to get their power out in front and pull balls, use their strength to the pull side, usually selling out for one pitch and try to capitalize on that fastball early or that breaking ball late in the count. And the Japanese are a bit more balanced. They still have their power, especially this Japanese team. They didn't sacrifice any power, but they're a lot more protective at the plate and don't want to get fooled. So it's more of a chess game when you have to face these Japanese guys. And the Korean guys, good hitters too. When you make their mistake, they're going to capitalize. It's usually going to be a home run. Where a Japanese guy, if you make a mistake, you might be able to get out of it if it's usually only a base hit. And so just a different style of how you may attack those guys. Again, still sticking to your strengths, but you might set it up a little bit differently.
Still here with silver medalist Nick Martinez on one-on-one WFUV Sports. Now, Nick, I'm also curious about, in terms of, we know a lot of pitchers will use video research and all these different types of things to get a good scouting report on their hitters, but also in the adjustment between leagues. And we know how well Major League Baseball does of making sure there's enough footage of everybody. But in going to Japan, what is their video situation like? What's it like trying to get guys from all over the world during the Olympics? Are you able to have enough information to get a good scouting report, or do you kind of just have to rely on your best pitches?
So out here in Japan, we use pretty much the same system as Major League. There's a mix between TrackMan and Hawkeye. I think everyone in the Major Leagues is using Hawkeye. There's a good mix. Most of the stadiums are domed, so they'll use TrackMan where it's not affected by the weather, and then the outdoor stadiums use Hawkeye. So we get the same information. Maybe the scouting report might be set up a little bit differently based on just because of the different approaches that hitters may have here. So the scouting report may be a little bit different, but you can get the same information. As far as the Olympics, I was able to get a little bit of data and information on the Korean team my first time around. I have some friends that play out there. I sent them the roster and got a good idea of what their hitters are trying to do and what their strengths are and what their weaknesses are. And we also were able to get a hold of, I believe they use some sort of analytics out there too. And that's, if you have an account in stateside or in Japan, you're able to see some of their analytics and kind of build a scouting report off that. And then obviously against Japan, I know these guys have been playing out here 4 years, so I know what they're trying to do, what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are. And I was able to fill in a scouting report for our first time around and then make adjustments for when I was pitching against them.
And I hope you don't mind here. I just want to pivot to talk about more of your kind of progression to get to where you are now. So for me, I play softball at Fordham right now. And
Nice.
Yeah, I love it. I love it so much. I'm living with a lot of softball players too. Yeah, it's amazing. And what we think about too a lot of the time is for softball, there's a pro league, but it's not as
right.
It's not as abundant.
As prominent as, yeah, right.
Right. And so I'm wondering for you, what was kind of always the dream? Was it always playing for Team USA? I know there's been so many fluctuations too, being in the Olympics, not being in the Olympics. I feel like for me as a young softball player, we always looked up to the Olympians. Right. So was it always playing in college first and then you knew you wanted to play pro? But what was the projection for you?
Yeah, so I mean, since I was a kid, being in the major leagues has been my dream. And, representing the country is a dream beyond a dream, really. So just to put that in perspective. But first step was to play collegiately and then get my foot in the door there, and then same thing with professional baseball. I was a second baseman at Fordham. I didn't really pitch much, and I wanted to get drafted and play professionally any which way. So my last year there, I asked our coach to let me get some innings in the bullpen, and knowing that I have a strong arm, maybe I get some looks that way. So again, I just wanted a chance to play pro ball, and then once that happened, the goal changed to, all right, I want to get to the major leagues. And then when I got to the major leagues, if you would have asked me, hey, you're going to play in Japan, I would have said, no freaking way. I'm staying in the show, or I'm not going to go to Japan. I'm not going to ask my family to move out there. But once I made that decision, I came out here. I feel like I've learned a lot. I've matured. It was an opportunity for me to better my repertoire and get a better understanding of what my strengths are. And so I feel like it's a necessary step. And from here, I'm 31, so I don't know what I don't really plan too far ahead in terms of my baseball career now. But right now, I'm just enjoying the moment, trying to kick ass every time I take the mound.
Still with Nick Martinez here on one-on-one. Nick, I was actually just about to ask you about your time at Fordham and your time playing second base, and talking about adjustments. you spent most of your time, as you mentioned, playing second base, and you hit 295, which ain't bad at all. So the adjustment to becoming a pitcher is a little, no pun intended, out of left field. But I would presume that being a hitter and also being a fielder informed the way you approach pitching in a way that gives you some kind of advantage.
Yeah, well, I mean, I wasn't that great a hitter, so once I got into pro ball, I think what helped me the most was that a really good understanding of how new this is to me, and so I felt like I felt behind a little bit. I felt like I needed to learn, and so I was curious about everything and wanted to learn, about everything. I think what did help being a position player, aside from just the athleticism going to the mound and not being so robotic that sometimes that, pitcher only players from their whole lives kind of, might get a little robotic or mechanical. Whereas I was able to stay athletic and continue to be athletic on the mound. But what's also helped me was, I think my baseball IQ. I was able to learn the game a lot from being a middle infielder, knowing where everyone's supposed to be, knowing where to throw the ball, where the situation was taking me, has helped and transitioned onto the mound. And so whenever I'm on the mound in those situations, I know what I should do or what I want to do, and it also keeps me calm. So I think that's helped me a lot. Yeah.
I think that's so interesting too. The level of calm is so important. I'm realizing now as I'm going to my senior year, like it's way more important to be calm and prepared than maybe trying too hard and doing too much, because I'll just like get out of my shoes, get out of my cleats, and not be doing what I'm meant to do. Yeah. And I'm wondering, although it might be selfishly, because I want some advice for the upcoming season. Sure. It seems like you've had a lot of fluctuations too in your life in general too, a lot of moving around. And I'm wondering what keeps you grounded, and not only grounded in a way that helps you operate through life, but like helps you just pitch the ball, see the glove, keep it simple. What is the thing that helps you?
Yeah. So, I mean, actually, I do a lot of meditation. Probably the most meditation that I've done in my life, I've done this year. And I think that helps me keep me grounded and keep me focused on just one pitch at a time. But a lot of times, and for someone in your shoes, and it happens to me still, whenever you feel like you might be chasing it, chasing the moment or chasing the opportunity, you feeling rushed. You're obviously going to be tense. So for me, I like to just focus, for me, one pitch at a time, not get worried about what the future might hold. You're going into your senior year, so think about all the training that you've done to actually prepare your body and to prepare your mind. And so for your senior year, it comes to a point, and for me too, it's a lot easier said than done, is to trust that preparation. You are ready for this. You're ready for your senior season. I'm ready for this game. I've put in the work. I've put in the time, the preparation, the scouting report. I believe in the scouting report. For me, I don't know, are you a hitter or a pitcher?
Hitter, outfielder too.
So as an outfielder, you know who's pitching, you know what kind of stuff they're bringing. I feel like in the outfield, that's more instinctual. You're chasing out a fly ball, so not a lot of thought goes to there, but most of the thing happens at the plate. Trust your instincts and all the preparation that you've done. You've done a lot of it, and it helps.
Nick, we have one last question for you, and then we'll wrap things up here. It's an important one. The medal. Where is it? Who has seen it?
I didn't. I should have brought it today. Actually, I fudged up on that one. It's back in my apartment. This is the first day I don't bring it to. They've been asking me to bring it to the field like every day, and it's been in my backpack every day. And last night I took it out and left it in my apartment. But I mean, I've been showing it off to everyone here. I got on my team here. There's 4 guys that were on Team Japan, so they're walking around with gold medals, and I'm walking around with silver. So comes time you're like, let me just put this away. The gold is a lot cooler.
That is fantastic. This is Nick Martinez. And I know you had said something about my intro, how it was a little long, but I hope you never let anyone give you a shorter one.
No, that was great. I loved it. That was a great intro.
I appreciate that. And we appreciate you being here. We're so grateful that you have joined us, and I'm sure our audience really is too. That is Nick Martinez, a silver medalist for Team USA. Thank you so much, Nick. But we will be.
Thank you guys, man. I enjoyed it.
Of course. And we're so grateful. And we're grateful that you're sticking around here on One-on-One. You listening, we will be back for much more in just a second. So stay tuned. This is One-on-One on WFUV.